What's up, guys, and welcome to my review for Damien Leone's Terrifier 2. Last Tuesday, I posted my review for the original 2016 film, and now I'm talking about Terrifier 2. And this Friday, you can check out my review for Terrifier 3, which I'm very excited for. I watched these first two movies for the first time a couple months ago, so I said, you know what, I really liked them. I really enjoyed these movies. So I said, you know what, I'm going to review them, especially in October, and it just turned out Terrifier 3 was going to release in October as well, so it just kind of worked out. So scary movie season is upon us, and now we have Terrifier 2 with a bigger budget than the first movie. The first movie was made for such a small amount of money, and it was very profitable. So they raised the budget for this one, and they made it bigger. Damien Leone gave us his vision with this movie, and he was able to do so much with so little. And in the first film, we had a slew of characters. We didn't really have a protagonist, per se. The sisters in that movie, the first half of the movie was the one sister. The second half of the movie was the other sister, who is now sort of this horrific-looking person that had her face totally reconstructed due to Art's attacks at the end of that first movie. This film, you do have a protagonist in Lauren Lavera's character, Sienna, who I think, this performance is excellent. For a lead performance in a horror film, she's right up there with Nancy, Heather Langenkamp in the original Nightmare on Elm Street film. And, I think this film does pay homage and pay respects to Wes Craven's original Nightmare movie, because in the credits of that first movie, it was in memory of Wes Craven and a couple other people. So you know that he took inspiration from him with Art's, humorous mannerisms and stuff like that. And that continues in the second film, but you also get more elements, of that original Nightmare film that I think Damien Leone is paying tribute to, like how the mother submits herself to alcohol in this movie. The relationship between Sienna and her mother, very similar, in many senses to the relationship between Heather Langenkamp and her mother in the original Nightmare on Elm Street film. So, I appreciated what he was trying to do here, and a majority of it worked for me. Look, with a bigger scope and a bigger story, he was able to really get into some almost sci-fi stuff, really. I mean, there's things that the son is looking into, and how he wants to be Art the clown for Halloween, and what he's kind of researching, and how he discovers that the father who passed away, which that storyline is kind of muddled in this, but the father who had passed away was doing drawings and stuff like that, and there's a woman with a sword who's killing Art the Clown. And now in this film, that is sort of the destiny of maybe his daughter. So that, I get what Leone was going for. It didn't completely work for me, but it doesn't tank the movie for me. Now, I think this movie has no business being over 2 hours long. This movie's like 2 hours and 16, 17 minutes. It's really ridiculous, the runtime of this movie. I wouldn't say it's ever boring. I would just say that there are certain things that you probably could have done differently and cut out. Like the scenes where Art is in this indoor park or whatever with the slides and the swings, and he pulls out his gun and he starts blasting everybody away. That whole thing, the thing where at the end of the film that Sienna is kind of transported into that kind of realm where there's all the lights around the kind of grave in the floor in the basement of that old amusement park where he knocks her down into, and then she's in like this big vat, this big glass cage that kind of Scarlett Johansson's character was in that Prestige movie. It's kind of similar how she's in there and she's got this cut, and the film does go a little extreme at the end of the movie, how it kind of zaps back together, kind of X-Men style. She comes out, she got the sword, she knocks his head off. So that stuff, I do think the movie does get a little too extreme in a sense. But look, if we're talking about like Nightmare on Elm Street movies or Friday the 13th movies, especially Friday the 13th movies, they do get a little extreme. I mean, Jason is revived from a lightning strike that hits his grave in the sixth movie. I mean, there's just a lot of craziness that's going on in those movies. So I could see where he kind of got the inspiration to kind of go really out there and bizarre with some of that stuff. In the end of the day, I do care about the lead character, and Art the Clown is fantastic as ever in this movie. I mean, you get to see him do so many things. The scene in the Halloween shop when he's trying on the glasses and all sorts of stuff, that was a great scene. And, David Howard Thornton continues to become an horror icon. And I think Art the Clown could go on a Mount Rushmore of horror icons with Michael Myers, Tobin Bell as John Kramer should go up there, and I would throw Art the Clown up there. The gore effects and the way that they film all of the bloody stuff in this, and the way it looks, the practicality and the practical effects here are really something special. And with this movie and the first Terrifier, and probably in the third one as well, I can only imagine that these are some of the best practical gore effects that I've ever seen. So, hats off to the makeup team behind this movie and the first movie, this movie particularly, and the whole bedroom sequence that I think is what people talk about in this movie, the famous bedroom scene, which is overkill in a sense. There's no way that that girl can endure that kind of pain and survive by the end of the attack. I mean, there's no way. So you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. And I also just want to mention that the demon girl that he meets in the beginning of the film, and she follows him throughout, she's just really creepy. And the costuming and the makeup is all just really spectacular in the film. So look, I'm going to give this the same rating I gave the first movie. It's a 4 out of 5 star film for me. A very strong 4 out of 5 for many different reasons. I mean, I can really admire what Damien Leone set out to do with this movie. And now I think with the third film, from the way it looks in the trailers and what I'm hearing about it, it's going to be the best of both worlds with that first and second movie. It's not as long as the second one. It's not as short as the first one. It's right in the middle. It's that sweet spot. So I'm very excited to see what's going to come of that film. And we've got a fourth movie confirmed. So, I love the series, and yeah, I own the second movie on 4K. The first one's only on a Blu-ray, I believe, but I don't own that first movie. I just kind of watched it on a digital platform. But yeah, I mean, there you go. So Terrifier 2. Comment down below, what's your favorite film in the series, the first or the second one? Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got spoiler reviews for the episodes of The Penguin that are dropping every Monday, which I'm really loving that show, and a bunch of reviews up on the channel now, and stuff coming in the future. Most notably, my review for Terrifier 3, which is going to be up Friday early afternoon. So definitely come on back for that. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingArises131. That's about for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for Damien Leone's Terrifier 2. And until next time, over and out.